in the world is bookkeeping so important for your business? It is literally the backbone to your entire business that will tell you the story of your business. But there's a lot of other benefits that are extremely important to understand when you're dealing with your books, especially when you're dealing in the real estate business and you're doing all these different projects. My name is Mathew Owens. I'm a California licensed CPA and full-time real estate investor. Has flipped over 1,000 houses now. And I understand the intricate details and the reasons for proper bookkeeping practices. So obviously the big one is the tax side, right? Understanding, having it ready for your tax preparer and having everything in order so that you can cut down that tax bill and have it very easy and to understand for your tax preparer and your CPA. They can help you with some tax planning advice and things like that. And it cuts down those tax preparer fees massively. It also gives you a backup for audit in that case. So a lot of people think that this tax side of thing is really the only reason to keep their books up to date and understand exactly what's happening. But it really helps with a lot of other key things as well, like the financial planning piece of this, understanding, what's your current financial position? Where are you right now with your, net worth and your income and expenses associated with your business, as well as doing the same type of bookkeeping for your personal expenses and things like that as well. Actually planning your goals out on the financial planning side. When you know your books, you know your budget versus actual, you can plan correctly and have those goals be more accurate to be able to know exactly what your monthly expenses are and things like that. So you can plan on a quarterly basis, on an annual basis, and you know what your current income sources are and what your current expenses are and what's coming up. So being able to know that from that planning standpoint is absolutely key, and it helps you develop a strategic financial plan for your business as a whole based on the bookkeeping and the backbone to your business, which is your financial statements, to understand what's happening. Okay. So secondarily, it helps you with the business management side. So again, knowing what your income sources are and what you're producing relative to your time, how much income are you making for the time you're putting into that business? So are you have multiple income streams and one of them is very little, but taking up most of your time versus the other income streams that are producing the bulk of your income and taking very little of your time? Understanding those key things are absolutely important, and understanding the net income by income stream will tell you those things for that proper business management to decide, hey, which income stream should you keep? Which income stream should you get rid of? Absolutely important to understand, and it also helps you with implementing expense management. So in part of managing your business, being able to go through your expenses every single month and understand what things are necessary, unnecessary. Are you spending too much? And going over every single expense item to say, is there ways to cut that down? Or is that going to be increasing into the future so that I need to understand my true new budget across the board? It also helps you when you classify accounts by project, you can understand which projects are more profitable. So if you're flipping houses, doing a P&L by class, which is by project, based on property address, you'll be able to determine what your all-in cost as a project is, as well as what your expected profitability is for that project into the future, after the renovation is done and things like that, to know which ones are profitable, which ones are not profitable, and at the whim, know exactly what your profit is going to be for that particular asset. Okay. So that business management component of bookkeeping, people don't necessarily understand. We went over the financial planning component of it, but also looking at the tax planning side. It's almost impossible for your CPA to help you mitigate taxes and help you understand the strategies that you can use to mitigate taxes without the right books in place, without it being correct, without you knowing that your books are right and you're able to submit it to them correctly and getting a projection for what your income and expenses are going to be in future quarters so that you're planning correctly, you're paying the right tax bill, you're going through and being able to mitigate those taxes before year end. So, it helps you also with income shifting. Maybe you don't want to do those collections in the current year and you want to collect it next year, or you want to go through and pay for some big capital expenditures now to mitigate your taxes and get that additional depreciation write off in this year versus next because you got a big tax bill this year. So that income and expense shifting can be done with the proper planning when you have your books done every single month, so you can be reviewing them and getting proper tax projections for the future across the board. Okay, you can maximize those expenses when you really need them and know what items to capitalize and write off, and have that plan in place so you can get your true tax projection of what your real income is going to be at the end of the year, even in the beginning quarters of the year. You should be doing that on a quarterly basis and having proper tax planning done by a CPA that's reviewing that stuff for you. And it also helps, last thing, with the cash flow management and the budgeting piece. You're staying on top of your current cash balances. You're reconciling those every single month with your actual books, with your bank balances, so you know exactly where you're at from a cash perspective and a reserves perspective. You know what your receivables and your payables are as well, and that helps massively from a proper bookkeeping perspective and knowing for cash flow management there. And then you're reviewing your big ticket items on your expenses and your income coming in based on that cash flow coming in too, saying when are those receivables or those payments on those projects going to come in versus when are these expenses going to go out. So all very, very key things for proper bookkeeping within your company. So you're going to start off by compiling all of your records for the company, okay? Your bank statements, your credit card statements, your assets and liabilities backup, your receipts and payroll reports, and having all that compiled for your bookkeeper so that they actually have that ready to go. And you need to be able to categorize those expenses and those income streams so that you can actually tell your bookkeeper what those should be categorized as and what that expense actually is. And then you want to have your CPA be reviewing those items to make sure you're categorizing it correctly. You're actually able to write off all of those items, and certain things are maybe not be deductible that you want to be careful about. And you want to organize all of your records by date. So keeping them month by month, categorized out is key. So you keep them organized so you know what your monthly budget is and they can be booked on a monthly basis within the bookkeeping software. And you want to be going through your receipts, your bank statements every single month, your credit card statements every single month, and your other transactions and your cash transactions every month to be able to understand and allocate those categories correctly. And then you're going to analyze your accounts for accuracy on a monthly basis and reconcile those accounts each month. Analyze your financial position on a monthly basis and what you're spending your money on every single month, and what revenue and expenses are being generated monthly. And then every year, you're going to do the same type of review and review for accuracy and reconciliation of all of your accounts. Look at the accounts with old balances. Should things be written off? Should things be, not there? Was something booked incorrectly? And review for proper accounting treatment with your CPA, and review for profitability as well, and for that tax planning for income shifting and your tax returns and things like that you have to do. So you have monthly and annual items that you should be doing along with quarterly tax planning. And so keeping proper books and records like this consistently is the key to all of that, the key to not paying so much money in taxes for federal, state taxes, payroll taxes, and having the right legal liability structures in place to do so to mitigate those taxes are key. And so that's why the quarterly tax planning is so important. And you always make literally over 100% return on those tax planning costs with your CPA. So I hope this helped you guys with the proper tips and tricks on how to run a business in different ways and real estate tips and tricks. So I will be coming out with content like this consistently on this channel for you guys. So if you like this content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I appreciate it, and I will talk with you soon.